Have you ever looked at your life, at the endless stream of entertainment on your screen, the instant access to any food you desire, the constant connection to the entire world, and felt a profound sense of nothing? It is the great paradox of our time. We live in a golden cage of comfort and stimulation, yet so many of us feel a quiet, persistent numbness. The vibrant colors of life seem to have a gray filter over them. The things that once brought you joy, a good meal, a favorite song, a walk in the sun, now barely register. You find yourself scrolling, searching, swiping, always looking for the next thing to make you feel something, anything. But the feeling, when it comes, is shallow and fleeting. When was the last time you felt real, uncomplicated joy, not the frantic high of a notification, but the deep, quiet pleasure of simply being? If this feeling is familiar, you are not broken. You are not ungrateful. You are simply a human being with an ancient brain living in a modern world that has become a trap. And the key to this trap, the master chemical that governs this entire cycle of seeking and dissatisfaction, is dopamine. For years, we have been told a simple story. Dopamine is the pleasure molecule. We do something we enjoy, and our brain releases dopamine as a reward. But this story is incomplete, and the misunderstanding of it is the very source of our modern struggle. The truth is, dopamine is not the molecule of pleasure. It is the molecule of motivation. It is the force that drives you to pursue a goal. It is the chemical of wanting, not of having. Your brain releases dopamine in anticipation of a reward, not from the reward itself. It's the thrill of the chase. It's the feeling that says, do that again. That might be good for your survival. This system was perfected over millions of years in a world of scarcity. When our ancestors found a rare beehive full of honey, a huge surge of dopamine drove them to remember that location and seek it out again. It was a brilliant survival mechanism. But today, we no longer live in a world of scarcity. We live in a world of overwhelming abundance. Your phone is a digital beehive that you can hit every 3 seconds. Junk food, pornography, video games, social media. These are highly concentrated, unnaturally potent sources of dopamine that our ancient brains were never designed to handle. This leads to a critical problem, which Dr. Anna Lembke, a psychiatrist at Stanford University and author of the book Dopamine Nation, explains with a simple but powerful analogy. Think of your ability to experience pleasure and pain like a seesaw, or a balance scale in your brain. When you do something pleasurable and get a hit of dopamine, the scale tips to the pleasure side. But the brain's primary job is to maintain balance, a state called homeostasis. So, to counteract that tip towards pleasure, it will tip the scale an equal and opposite amount to the side of pain. This is that feeling of calm down, of emptiness, after the initial high. It's why you feel a little bit worse after an hour of mindless scrolling than you did before you started. But now, what happens when you hit that dopamine button over and over again, all day, every day? Your brain, in its effort to maintain balance, starts to reset its neutral position. It keeps the pain side of the seesaw permanently pressed down. This creates a new, lower baseline. This is the state of dopamine desensitization. Your brain's reward pathways become overworked and less sensitive. The things that used to give you a normal, healthy amount of pleasure, like a conversation with a friend or watching a sunset, no longer even register. They don't produce enough dopamine to tip a scale that is already weighted down on the side of pain, so you seek out bigger and bigger hits just to feel normal. You need more stimulation, more novelty, more intensity, not to feel good, but just to stop feeling bad. You are trapped. You have built a world that is a perfect machine for breaking your own reward system. But if we build the cage, we can also find the key to unlock it. The solution is not found in adding more. It is found in taking away. It is found not in a new technology, but in an ancient wisdom, a philosophy of less that holds the power to make you feel whole again. It is a bleak picture, is it not, to realize we are living in a self-made cage, but in this realization, there is immense power, because once you understand the design of the trap, you can begin to dismantle it. The path to freedom does not require a new app, a new supplement, or a new technology. In fact, it requires the opposite. The key is ancient, radical, and deceptively simple. It is the power of emptiness. For thousands of years, in every great wisdom tradition, from the Stoic philosophers of ancient Greece to the Buddhist monks in the mountains of the East, there has been a deep understanding of a fundamental truth. The source of lasting joy and resilience is not found in the external world of endless seeking, but in the internal world of self-mastery. They all recognize that to truly appreciate the fullness of life, one must be willing to embrace emptiness. They practice this through various forms of fasting. Fasting from food to reset the body, fasting from speech to cultivate inner silence, fasting from worldly distractions to strengthen the spirit. They understood that the human system, body, mind and spirit, is not a machine that can be endlessly pushed. It is a garden, and a garden that is constantly being watered, fertilized and harvested, with no time to rest, will eventually yield barren soil. The ancient practice of fasting is like letting a field lie fallow. In that period of stillness, of intentional lack, the soil regains its nutrients, its vitality, its readiness to produce abundance once more. We have forgotten this. Our modern philosophy is more content, more flavor, more speed, more connection. But we are discovering that more is not better. More is just more. It doesn't lead to more happiness, it leads to more numbness. The ancient masters knew that less is not a deprivation. Less is a gateway. This principle of applying a small, intentional dose of challenge or scarcity to make a system stronger is not just ancient philosophy, it is a well-established biological principle. In biology and medicine, there is a concept known as hormesis. Hormesis is the principle that a low dose of a stressor, something that would be harmful in large doses, can trigger a beneficial, adaptive response in the body. The saying, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger," is a perfect, if informal, summary of hormesis. You see this everywhere in health. When you lift weights, you are applying a stressor that creates microscopic tears in your muscles. The body's hormetic response is to repair these tears and make the muscle even stronger than before. When you expose your body to the brief, intentional stress of a cold plunge, your cells respond by improving their resilience. The same principle applies to your mind and your dopamine system. The constant, high-dose flood of easy dopamine is toxic. It weakens the system. But a temporary, intentional, low dose of the stress of boredom, of understimulation, of silence, this triggers a powerful hormetic response in your brain. Your dopamine receptors, which have been overworked and downregulated, are given a chance to rest and repair. They reset. They regain their sensitivity. By stepping away from the noise, you are forcing your brain to adapt. You are making your reward pathways stronger, more resilient, and more capable of finding deep satisfaction in simple, natural pleasures again. This is what we now call a dopamine fast. I want you to remove the idea that this is some trendy biohack. It is not. This is a fundamental training exercise for the mind. It is a modern name for the ancient art of cultivating emptiness in order to rediscover what truly matters. It is the practice of letting your inner field lie fallow so that you can experience a harvest of joy unlike any you have felt in years. So, how do we practice this ancient wisdom in our modern world? How do we apply this powerful principle of hormesis to our minds? We do it with a simple, powerful, and finite challenge. We do it with a protocol. The wisdom is ancient. The science is clear. Now comes the practice. We are going to embark on a 24-hour training protocol. I want you to see this not as a period of deprivation, but as a period of liberation. For one day, you will be free from the endless demands of the outside world, and free to rediscover your own inner landscape. It is just 24 hours, but the clarity you can gain will last for weeks, months, or even a lifetime. This is your reset. This is your battle plan. For the next 24 hours, your goal is simple: to intentionally reduce the amount of external stimulation you allow into your mind. This will be challenging. Your brain, accustomed to constant hits of dopamine, will resist. It will tell you that you are bored, that this is pointless, that you are missing out. Recognize this voice for what it is: the cry of a system in withdrawal. It is a sign that the protocol is working. Here are your rules of engagement. First, the things you will fast from. These are the sources of cheap, easy dopamine. Screens. This is the most important and most difficult rule. No phone, no computer, no television, no tablet. Put them away. Turn them off. If you need your phone for emergencies, turn off all notifications and place it in another room. The screen is the primary delivery device for the unpredictable rewards that have hijacked your brain. For 24 hours, it is off limits. Music, podcasts, and audiobooks. This may seem surprising, but these are still forms of external stimulation. They fill the silence and prevent you from being alone with your own thoughts. The goal here is not to replace one form of consumption with another, but to embrace true mental silence. Intoxicants. This includes caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, and any other mind-altering substances. These chemicals directly manipulate your dopamine and other neurotransmitter systems. To truly reset, we must allow the brain to find its own natural baseline without interference. Junk food and sugar. Do not consume highly processed foods, sugary drinks, or anything designed to be hyper-palatable. These foods are engineered to provide a massive dopamine response, bypassing your body's natural signals of satiety and pleasure. Unnecessary socializing and gratification. Avoid casual, distracting conversations. This is not a day for social validation. The focus is internal. Second, the things you will embrace. These are your tools for recalibration. Water and simple foods. Hydrate yourself well with water. When you eat, make it simple. Whole foods, a piece of fruit, steamed vegetables, plain rice. The goal is to eat for fuel, not for entertainment. Notice the actual taste of food without the enhancement of artificial flavors. Walking. If possible, take long walks, preferably in nature. Do not listen to anything. Just walk. Pay attention to the feeling of your feet on the ground, the air on your skin, the sights and sounds around you. This is a form of active meditation. Journaling. Keep a pen and paper with you. When thoughts, feelings, and urges arise, and they will, write them down. Do not judge them. Simply observe them and document them. This act of externalizing your thoughts creates a space between you and them. You will be amazed at what comes up when your mind is finally given the space to speak. Meditation and contemplation. Simply sit in silence. You don't need a formal technique. Your only job is to be still and be present. This is where you will face the core of the challenge. Boredom. Boredom has become the most feared sensation in the modern world. We will do anything to avoid it. But you must understand this. Boredom is not your enemy. Boredom is the gateway. Psychologists and neuroscientists are now recognizing that boredom is a crucial human emotion. It is a signal from your brain that your current activities are not stimulating, and it is a powerful catalyst for creativity, problem solving, and deep thought. When you allow yourself to be truly bored, your brain enters what is called the default mode network. This is the state where your mind wanders, connects disparate ideas, reflects on the past, and plans for the future. It is where your most original ideas come from. It is where you solve problems that you have been stuck on for weeks. During this 24-hour protocol, when you feel that wave of intense boredom and restlessness, I want you to reframe it. Do not see it as a sign of failure. See it as a sign of imminent breakthrough. Your brain is detoxing. It is clearing out the noise. It is preparing the soil. Stay with the feeling. Breathe through it. This discomfort is the feeling of your dopamine receptors healing. It is the feeling of your mind returning home. Endure the stillness. Embrace the emptiness, because what awaits you on the other side is the world in high definition. You have endured the silence. You have faced the restlessness. You have walked through the emptiness and refused to be distracted from yourself. Now, the 24 hours are complete, and it is time to re-enter the world. But you will not re-enter it as the same person who left. You are returning with a nervous system that has been reset, retuned, and reawakened. The first step you take back into the world of stimulation is the most profound. Do it with intention. Perhaps you make a simple cup of tea, but this time, you don't drink it while scrolling on your phone. You just drink it. You notice the warmth of the mug in your hands, the steam rising, the complex aroma, the subtle notes of flavor on your tongue. It is the same tea you have had 100 times, but it feels like the first time. Perhaps you listen to a piece of music. You don't have it on as background noise while you work. You just listen. You hear the texture of each instrument, the emotional weight of each note, the space between the sounds. It is a song you have always liked, but now it moves you to your core. This is the gift of the reset. The world has not changed, but you have peeled back the gray filter of overstimulation, and you are seeing everything in high definition. This is your brain's natural state of pleasure, a state that was always there, buried beneath the noise. You did not need to add anything to find it. You only needed to take away that which was hiding it. The great challenge now is not to return to your old ways. The goal is not to live as a monk, but to live with mastery in the modern world. To do this, you must stop treating your attention and your motivation as an infinite resource. You must start to see it as a budget. Think of it this way. Every day, you wake up with a finite amount of dopamine currency. You get to choose how you spend it. You can spend it on cheap, unsatisfying junk food for the mind, hours of mindless scrolling, constant notifications, endless shallow content. This leaves you feeling bankrupt, overdrawn, and spiritually hungry at the end of the day. Or, you can invest your currency in things that provide a deep, lasting return. Spending it on learning a new skill, on creating something,
on a deep conversation with a loved one, on time spent in nature. These activities may not provide the same intense, immediate spike as the cheap hits, but they build a baseline of profound satisfaction, purpose, and genuine joy. They leave your account full. You are the master of this budget. The 24-hour protocol has given you a clean slate. From now on, you get to be intentional. You don't have to be a purist. The goal is balance. Enjoy a movie. Listen to your favorite music. But do it with intention, as a conscious choice, not as a desperate escape from boredom. Create a simple, sustainable practice. Perhaps you can implement a digital sunset. No screens for an hour or two before you sleep. This will dramatically improve your sleep quality and your mental state the next day. Perhaps you can schedule one low dopamine morning each week, where you don't look at your phone for the first hour of the day, choosing instead to walk, read a physical book, or simply be. We began this journey in a golden cage, surrounded by everything, but feeling nothing. We were caught in a trap, constantly chasing a feeling that would never satisfy us, and we did not understand why. We learned that we had misunderstood the very nature of motivation. We discovered that our brains, in a desperate attempt to find balance in a world of overwhelming excess, had lowered our capacity for joy, leaving us numb and wanting more. We walked the ancient path of emptiness. We endured the sacred discomfort of boredom and discovered that it was not an enemy, but a gateway to healing our minds. And now, we have returned, not to the same world we left, but to one that is infinitely richer, more vibrant, and more beautiful, because we have reclaimed the most precious thing of all, our sensitivity to life itself. So, the next time you feel it, that restless urge to scroll, to distract, to consume, I want you to pause, and instead of seeing it as a simple craving, I want you to see it for what it is, a choice, a decision point for how you will spend the currency of your life force. You are the master of your reward system. You are the gardener of your mind. You are the one who decides what is worthy of your focus. The energy you have been giving away to meaningless distractions is the same energy you can now invest in building a life of profound purpose and pleasure. You were never meant to be a passive consumer of endless content. You were designed, from the cellular level up, to be an active creator of your own experience. The question is no longer where you will find your next hit of stimulation. The question is, what simple, beautiful, and worthy piece of your life will you choose to honor with your full and undivided attention today? Gratitude.